Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Q&A. I say the because it is the only one. For many years, we did a Q&A every single month. In 2018, we only managed one per season. And then in 2019, we have not done a Q&A until now. And we're doing one live. A lot of people have asked why the Q&A's disappeared. Real quick explanation on that. Basically two reasons. The first one is that things got behind, and it was naturally kind of like the first thing to drop. And we dropped it...
The easiest thing you could drop.
It was the easiest thing we could drop because Breakfast Stream already answered a lot of questions. There's a lot of people that asked questions during Breakfast Stream, so it kind of was filling that gap. And then the second reason was because Breakfast Stream was kind of filling that gap. It wasn't a true replacement, but since we were already running low on time to do everything we wanted to do, that kind of seemed like the best thing to let slide off. So that's the reason. Our Q&A is coming back regularly in 2020. Maybe. We'll see. But for right now, let's be happy because you are getting one here. So we're doing this live. We actually just played through a game. And the second half of this stream, we are doing a Q&A. And we've actually got everybody here. Chad is here. You can't see them. They're invisible. Although if you want, you can watch this. You can watch the Twitch VOD of this if you want to see chat along with us. And people have been submitting a bunch of questions. This is a little unusual for us because generally we review questions ahead of time. This is a little different because we just have questions that have been submitted to us. But we're going to take a look at them and answer them. We're going to kind of go pretty quick and do a lot more questions than we normally would and see how it goes. And I'm excited because we haven't done a Q&A in a year. So this question comes from Andrew in the Kitchen, who asks, thinking about my New Year's resolutions for 2020, and I'm coming up with small short-term ones and big long-term ones, what resolutions or goals have you got for 2020? So what is it that you want to achieve in 2020, Mal?
So one of the things I'm doing in my planner is doing goals for next year. And I honestly, yesterday, started doing that page, but I haven't written any down. Mm-hmm. But I have been thinking about it. I'd really like to... work on keeping up with the planner every day.
Of course.
And I'd like to work on making sure we actually stick to the schedule because we do a pretty good job.
We do okay.
Yeah, but I would really like to.
We could do better.
Yeah, we could do better.
We could do better. Mm-hmm. Admittedly.
And I'd like to go for more walks.
Yeah. Then actually, what's so funny is that before we were doing the schedule, we were doing pretty good on walks.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we were like.
Well, things are getting better, so that's something I'm really hoping to do in the new year.
I know we're talking about things that we're doing in 2020, but one of the best things we did in 2019 was introduce the schedule, and in particular, my favorite part is tea time.
I know, you say that every time we bring up the schedule.
It's nice, and I actually legitimately like tea, and I like tea more now that I have a designated time of the day to drink it. That's really exciting for me, but also just like a forced break. I have a problem, and it's called I work a lot, and yes. I like work. And it's really nice to be forced to stop, to just basically have
30 minutes
where I stop. So that's been great. But for me personally, the things I'm looking forward to in 2020, 2019 was a big year. I don't know if everyone else realizes how big of a year it was in terms of our stuff, but it really represents a transition year. And it's been a year of transition. It's been a year of, we called it the year of production, where we made so many changes to how we do things and the equipment that powers things. The big thing that happened in 2019 was that we did an entire year of streaming. That was the big thing for us because we started Breakfast Stream in late 2018 and we spent all of 2019 doing it. We never missed a single day. And now we've gotten to the point where we're starting to throw in gaming streams. We're doing a lot. Yeah. We're doing a whole lot of streams. So, I mean, that's been the whole thing for 2019 is like this transition year of starting to transition more into doing streaming. So 2020, my big resolution is to do more of that, and the first step is getting caught up. I've got 3 albatrosses around my neck. The first one is the current timeline, which is almost caught up. Then I got to take care of Fallout. I'm good. I carefully
was a
play.
Strange direction, though. And then
was it?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. And then finally, like the old timeline. So I got to catch up on some stuff, but ultimately the goal is to do solo streams in the week, starting to cover other games that probably would have never come to Steven Plays to begin with.
Yeah.
So like, 2019's been a little rough, but I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm super excited for 2020 because of what 2019 has represented, basically. 2019's been great.
Yeah.
It's been hard, but it's been great, and it's really shown us that even when things are difficult, like we can still do it, and we can introduce new, interesting things and keep up with them. And keeping up with them is the hardest part. That's my biggest resolution, personally. Next question. Next question is from Mech Mayhem, and it says, with the increasing amount of streaming content in 2019, what have you guys been the most pleased about? And what are you looking forward to continuing with and or improving upon here on Twitch as we move into 2020? So what has been the thing that you've been most pleased about in terms of streaming in 2019? I mean, my answer right off the bat is the thing I'm happiest about, and this goes with all aspects of my life, is
your dedication?
Well, consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is like, it's big for me. It's the reason why I've had a schedule on Steven Plays for, how long have I been doing it? It'll be, 9 years? I think 9 years in February. Like, that consistency is my big thing. Everyone's got a thing. Some people like experimentation. Some people like to try different things. Some people might go dark for like a few weeks or a few months, and then all of a sudden they're back and they're trying something different, or they put a bunch of resources into a thing. For me personally, my big thing is consistency. I want it to be. I want there to always be stuff. You will know when to expect stuff. You said you were going to
stream, and you streamed.
Yes. Even in...
You said we were doing Tuesdays and Thursday breakfast stream.
And like that becomes...
we were going to do it. Mm-hmm.
It becomes gospel. Mm-hmm. And the thing for me in the last few years has been personally learning to understand myself better. To know not to bite off too much. Because
you have a Chaz on your shoulder telling you.
I have a Mallory and a Chaz on my shoulder, and it's been great. Because I have historically been really bad at that. Because when I was younger, a few years ago, I did very poorly with understanding how much I should do. And there was a lot of times I did too much. And I'm starting to get in a better swing of understanding what I can and cannot accomplish. And that's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the big thing. So that's what I've been most pleased about, is the fact that no matter the fact that we went to Denver or Atlanta or Japan or China, Breakfast Stream kept happening. And I'm looking forward to doing that.
Even when we had the Great Firewall of China.
That was hard.
Yeah.
Our most Well, also, that's the thing. If we can stream to Twitch in China, doggone it, we can keep doing it.
Yeah.
I never want to hear another excuse from either of us about streaming on the schedule if we streamed in China. I'm like, I think if we can stream in China, we can stream it anywhere. And then I said it in the other question, but the thing I'm really looking forward to is solo streams. But then also, we have got so many things on a list of games to play. I'm very excited. I want to get into 2020 because there's a lot of games that are going to take 2 to 3 streams. So I want to make sure that I have things back to back available. But as soon as I do, once we get into the new year, there's going to be one-offs we did Minute. But there's going to be a lot of it's going to take us 2 streams to do this. Join in. It's going to be fun. And we're just going to keep that going. And it's going to be exciting. Is there a project specifically on Twitch that you're looking forward to doing?
Yeah.
You can spoil something if you want.
I don't know.
You get to spoil one thing.
I don't actually know what is planned, but there are things I would like to do.
I mean, we already told, and I think, Rule of Rose is still behind us. We already told people on Breakfast Stream that we would actually be playing through that. And that's an example of like one of those 2 to 3 stream things.
But there's games like that I want to do.
There's been so many games that we have not brought to Stephen Plays because they probably would not be terribly successful. And some of them would take a little bit of time. And the streaming environment is so casual that it feels really exciting. And chat wants to know if you're planning on doing Mal Makes Live.
I'm not at this point.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Depending on the medium.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, perhaps we'll get a chance to see you and Haley do another art thing at some point.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while those happen. All right.
I could put together, if we visit them next, because we don't have plans for them coming here or us going there.
We don't have plans yet.
Yeah, but normally she comes here, we do acrylic, I go there and do watercolor, but maybe I could take a little acrylic kit for myself or something, if we went.
Or, next time you guys do a stream, it's something neither of you do.
Or what if it's something both of us do, like cooking?
You could do a cooking stream. I was going to say, like, you both have Sculpey, go for it.
I think Haley's done Sculpey, I haven't.
I did Sculpey
but I've done
college.
ceramic, so I don't know.
Next question is coming from Norse Goldhand, who says, what was one of your favorite projects to work on this year?
The painting I'm doing right now.
Wow. Right at the buzzer. Think back to every single painting you did this year.
Yes.
You've done, this is your 12th. You've done 11 other paintings. Is this the painting you are most excited about in the entire year?
Yes.
It's really good.
I'm very excited about it.
It's really good.
And like last night, I kind of didn't want to go to bed, and I kind of wanted to stay up and work on it. But that would have been a mistake because we saw Thomas today.
It's a really good painting. Speaking on your stuff, I was really happy with the Banjo-Kazooie piece just because it was the longest piece you ever worked on.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved your Pokemon Park piece from like the very beginning of the year.
I think that was February.
Yeah, like this was really good.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. BioShock also. Your BioShock piece was so freaking good.
I really loved that one.
Sorry, I'm just talking about your stuff. What was your favorite project to work on, like, with me?
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening? You really enjoyed that?
Yeah.
It was, I mean, Link's Awakening was just a good game. I really love the way that we tackled it.
I really liked it, the game.
And you really just liked the game, too.
Yeah, I did.
So, favorite project. Ugh. I've got to say, I think I have to say Red Dead Redemption 2. Even though it started last year, it started like right at the buzzer. And I spent... It's easy to quickly forget about a project because there's so much stuff going on around here. We're always moving forward. But I only just stopped playing Red Dead.
Yeah.
I only just stopped playing it a few months ago. I played it basically the entire year. And God, what an amazing game. It took a long time. It took 11 months, but like it was so good. And I really loved it. And at some point, Mal's going to get a chance to play it. So that was probably my favorite project to work on. Although I got to say, I'm starting to get just a little bit further into BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
And good God, that's a good game. That's a really good game. Let's see. We've got a question here from Wizard Scallion that says, "Hey Mal, I'm about to start student teaching art in mid-January. Any advice or helpful tips?"
I'm not sure how your cooperating teacher is going to handle it because everyone does things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
My first week, I think, and I think it was a half week because of some holiday or something, I just kind of sat there and watched. And I took notes on what the teacher did and like how the classroom was run. I don't think I even started like teaching anything until like maybe the second week. And I think I maybe just did like one day with one class.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I was teaching art. So, did they say?
Yeah,
they said art.
Yeah, student teaching art.
I mean, you can walk around probably and like talk to the kids and be like, "Oh, what's your favorite thing about art class?" You know, depending on the grade level, you're gonna scale that appropriately. You're not gonna go up to a high schooler and be like, "So, what are you doing?"
What's your favorite thing? What's your favorite color?
So, like, I wouldn't be afraid to do that. Talk to the teacher. I would get as many resources as you can. See if they're okay with you copying worksheets and curriculum and, lesson plans, because I didn't do that because...
You just felt weird about it?
I felt weird about it, and the high schooling where I was, they didn't keep lesson plans. They just were like, and let's just make fairy tale books this week. So, if your teacher has that, I would copy all that, because once I started teaching, I made all of mine from scratch.
And it sucked.
Yeah. And I did that elementary, and then I switched to high school, and then I had to do that with high school and make my own curriculum and be like, all right, what are we going to do?
I mean, like,
we should start with this, and then we should do this, and then we should do that.
The cool thing was that all of the stuff that Mal presented to her students, like, she made.
Yeah.
But I also remember...
That's the art of teaching, is thinking of how it's going to go in order and what would make the most sense for your students to learn and how to learn it. So
I just also remember how much effort went into, like, doing that, whereas if she would have just had those resources available, good God, it would have been simpler.
And like where I taught, they wanted that lesson plan. They wanted you to turn in lesson plans weekly, and they said they checked them, but I doubt that.
Yeah.
But like, they wanted you to have things and have your standards on the board.
Yeah.
So
Nikki Sapphire asked, favorite first 20 of 2019. Now, you didn't really...
No, I wasn't in many of them, and I don't even remember the ones that I was in. So...
I probably need... I'll tell you. I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a list to tell you my favorites. But I would probably need to look at the list to tell you...
More than just
anything past, like, the first two. So, like... Frickin' live, I'm gonna go find the first 20 playlist and just look at this, because I already know in my heart, like, I know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Then why don't you say it?
Okay. Yeah, okay, I pulled it up. I just want to run down this list.
Okay.
Just want to run down this list, looking at everything that happened this year. The last few months, first 20s have all been live. I love the format. I think it's a lot of fun. It helps in case I get stuck somewhere, which is really helpful. The reason I'm doing this is because I want
a short hike. Yeah, that was good.
I want to give, like, some props to a few of these. So I want to, like, just know where I stand here. Of course, I'm not exactly sure where this...
The year switches?
Yeah. Oh, it's probably where the top 10 is.
Yeah.
The first 20 of this year was Gris, but we played a lot of different ones. Okay, so I'm going to give... Oh, God. It's between two, and I think I'm going to give it to Baba Is You. I think Baba Is You is the best first 20 that I did this year.
I enjoyed it.
Baba Is You was so good that we then did...
A stream. Mm-hmm.
A stream of it. Baba Is You is... God, it's creative. It's intelligent. There's multiple ways to finish the levels. It's so good. It's so good. But my second place, the one it was really, like, fighting for, was actually a short hike. A short hike is...
I really liked a short hike.
For what it is, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually perfect. If you missed Short Hike, we actually played through the whole game. We didn't play through the whole game of Baba Is You, although there's a stream you can watch if you want. But we played through the whole thing of A Short Hike, and good God, that game it's amazing. It's not trying to do everything, but it's trying to do certain things, and it knocks every single thing out of the park.
Yeah.
It's short, funny, and wholesome, and so good. But since I got this list pulled up, I'm gonna just throw out some honorable mentions, because the past few years I did a top 10 video, and I don't have time to do that this year. I wish I did, but I just don't. So here's...
Did Chess tell you no?
I told me no, because I'm still trying to get stuff done. But some honorable mentions. Wonder Song was really excellent. I liked Kingsbird, but it's a little finicky, and I've also played I played the Switch version, and it's too tiny for the screen. Shapeshifting Detective was good, but we also did an entire Let's Play, which is coming out on YouTube at some point. Gorogo is great. You should buy it for mobile and beat it. It's in a single sitting.
It's very good. I played that on mobile.
Pikuniku was really interesting. I'd actually kind of like to maybe go back to that at some point. Return to the Obra Dinn was super freaking cool. And Mao doesn't know what it is, and we might do a stream of that together at some point because I liked Obra Dinn so much. It's a puzzle game. It's really good. Another game on here that has the most replayability for me personally is Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire might be like my personal first 20.
You played that the entire plane ride to Japan.
I did.
And back.
I did. I really, really loved Slay the Spire. A lot. So I recommend that. Looking through some other stuff here. Gather Roboto was good too. I liked Gather Roboto. Void Bastards was good, but like, I don't know. There something about it was not polished enough. Like, it didn't have enough longevity to me, or something. Cadence of Hyrule was interesting, but I apparently got like the worst, hardest seed ever whenever I played it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. Snaky Bus is great. It's a fun party game. I really liked that. War Groove was interesting because I liked Advance Wars, but I haven't had a chance to go back to it. Persona 5 was my first... I finally got to play Persona this year with Persona 5. And like, it's cool, but it's like 100 hours long. And I've had people telling me for years, like, oh, please do a Let's Play of Persona. And I'm like, guys, it's 100 hours long. In my entire life, like, the games I've brought to the channels that have been that long are like Skyrim, Fallout, and Red Dead. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not that I don't want to. It's just they're so long. Yooka-Laylee seemed really good. I haven't played more of it, but I really liked that. Ori was good. I've heard that Ori gets really, really hard, but it was good. I liked Aviary Attorney a lot. I thought that was clever. I'm bad at French. And Sekiro, also. I liked Sekiro, I think, a lot because I had so many comments telling me how good I did. And I was like, really? I did good at the Souls-like game? Really? Because I do like an hour of it, and I never die. And people are like, how did you not die? And I'm like, I don't know.
I didn't.
You just didn't? Nerdy Revelry says, can you mention that Aviary Attorney is coming out on Switch now? It's out on Switch. So you can play French Bird Lawyer Game. They could have just called it French Bird Lawyer Game. Then it would have had to contend with Untitled Goose Game for the weirdest title. All right, let's move on. Intelligent One asks, are there games/genres that you'd be interested to play or try out, but because you think it wouldn't make good content and you don't have enough spare time for it, you probably never will? I'm thinking about things like grand strategy games or even just Civilization. So in Mao's spare time, she actually plays Civ, what, 6? Is that the one you play?
I was playing 5, and I got 6
on the
Switch. And I played through it on a couple rounds on Switch, like a couple cycles.
Yeah.
I need to do it again because I lost the first time.
So the interesting thing about this question is that, like, and this is one of the reasons I've really enjoyed Twitch, is that I feel like, to some extent, you can really play anything on Twitch. And certainly, like, there's levels of things that will be popular, but I personally feel more comfortable bringing even content I wouldn't normally bring to Twitch to Twitch. One of the things I like, but I haven't played in a long, long time, is... What would you call them? Amusement sims? So things like Roller Coaster Tycoon, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
The Tycoon games?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the one that was by Roller Coaster Tycoon people?
Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster. And I did a first 20 of Planet Coaster a few years ago.
Yeah.
I like those games. I think they're a lot of fun, but they're huge time sinks, and you can't make them into edited content.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. The amount of time it takes to make a video is not... It doesn't scale. You would spend hours to present a video that's going to be 5 or 10 minutes, and like, you can't you can't do that. But as a stream, it might work. So like that's that sort of thing I've been thinking about. And like to an extent, like The Sims is a little like Planet Coaster, but I never spent that much time. Like it's not quite the same because in The Sims I can show more of like what's happening. Sims might also be a pretty good fit for streaming too. BC 2014 says, is there a particular Wii game you think will be hard to find? I guess I'm probably better suited to answer this question.
I have no idea. Kitty Cruiser, Hello Kitty Cruiser.
That's not on Wii, that's Wii U, isn't it?
I know it's Wii U.
I don't know, actually. Like, there's a few Wii games that they're known for being rare or hard to find. Dokapon Kingdom comes to mind. But we have, at some point in our lives, we've seen Dokapon Kingdom. We saw it in Albany. But at that time, we weren't trying to collect Wii. We were still collecting GameCube. I think, you know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you that I don't know what the answer to that's going to be. When we collected N64 and GameCube, we finished both of those libraries. And there are games that you're not suspecting. Games that you've never heard of. There's always like all of these YouTubers making like these lists about like the hardest, rarest game that you're gonna get on your system. That's what they all sound like. And it's always like the same stuff. And I found personally that the games I couldn't find for N64 and GameCube were different. Very different. So one of the games on N64 that I struggled to find, it was one of the last games we got, was International Superstar Soccer 2000. And like, yeah, it's a rare game, but it's not like terribly, terribly rare, but we just could not find it. I found multiple copies of Sculptor's Cut before I found that soccer game. And that's a little bizarre. On GameCube, I have a lot more examples on GameCube. On GameCube, everyone talks about NCAA. The
Pokemon Box.
And Pokemon Box and Phantasy Star Episode 1 and 2 Plus. And like, don't get me wrong, these are very rare games, they're very valuable games, but the ones that gave me the hard time were what's the Go-Go Hyper Grind. Game doesn't exist. I mean, like, seriously.
The Disney sports titles.
The Disney sports titles, they are worth less money, and I saw them far less than the other games. And then the final game that we picked up, the very last game I found, and I could not find it in a store. I had to buy a copy from eBay because I never found it, was Rally Championship. It's a game you've never heard of. It's not a big to-do game. It's a game no one's ever heard of, but it's a GameCube game, and it is absolutely 100% harder to find than NCAA. Absolutely. Harder to find than NCAA, harder to find than Pokemon Box. And the reason is, everyone knows about Pokemon Box. Everyone knows about NCAA. So they're on eBay.
Yeah.
So you can find them. Rally Championship, when I bought it, it was the only copy on eBay. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, so yeah. Maybe I should be making those videos. Doodle says Backyard Baseball. Yeah, that was the other one. That was another one where I think I had to order it. Or someone sent it to me, but I had to like specifically be like, I can't find this game. So yeah, it's like there's these little things. And Backyard Baseball is an even better example because Rally Championship is like $100 game because people are figuring out that they can't find it. Backyard Baseball was like cheap, and I couldn't find it. There was like a ILMS or something, International something, whatever. That was another game. It's like $6, and I couldn't find it. I think I ended up ordering that on eBay too. Like, wild stuff. So anyway, what Wii game will be hard to find? I don't know. I have no idea. Chaz says International something whatever game of the year. Well, it's hard to tell. Cassie asks a much bigger question. Game of the decade for each of you.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh my god.
Because I can't even think of like what's come out.
I think the hardest part for this is that this literally encompasses the entirety of Stephen Place.
Yeah.
I'll preface this by saying I can't I can't truly answer this question.
Is Minecraft this decade? Because we played that in college.
Technically, it came out last decade.
Okay.
And it's such an easy answer, too. I'm almost tempted to be like, Minecraft?
Yeah.
Probably Minecraft. But, like, that, it did technically come out sooner. It got its, like, 1.0 release in this decade. But it was in alpha before that.
Because we started playing it before the food bar. Because I remember that came in, and I remember Alex complaining about that.
He does like to complain about a lot of things. If a game is not Super Mario 64, if a game is not Super Mario World, he's very angry about it. So instead of trying to answer this question, because I will never do this question justice, unfortunately, let's instead throw out some of the most important games we think we played in the last 10 years. Minecraft may not have come out in this decade, but it was definitely one of the most important games.
Yeah.
From a societal standpoint, not even just from us, but for us personally, like Fallout 4 represents so much work and effort.
Last of Us.
I'm gonna definitely put Fallout 4 high on my list because I have unique ties to the game. It's one of the bad things about not having finished it yet. I say yet because I will. Is that the legacy of it is that it's not done, and not that I produced 200 and something episodes that are like good. It's that it's not done, and it's like that's one of the main reasons I have to finish it, is because that cannot be the legacy. Is it has to be finished.
Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us, very good.
Odyssey was one for me.
Really? Mm-hmm. You just liked it that much?
I did, and I played it at a weird point in my life, because I had gone up to Wisconsin, and I played it on the plane, and I played it when I was there, and you weren't around. You weren't here.
Yeah.
So.
Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the more recent games that's been like a big heavy hitter. Mm-hmm. The whole BioShock series I experienced this decade, and I'm currently going through Infinite, so I can't speak about it, although it is very good so far. BioShock 1 is a masterpiece. An absolute freaking masterpiece. It still stands up today. When we get through the holidays,
Yeah.
and things calm down a little bit, Mal will finally
Play it.
knuckle down and beat the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, good, because it's great. But I am going to say my personal game of the decade, beating every other game, the game that has been most important to me in the past 10 years, has to be Grand Theft Auto 5. It has to be. I don't think I was more excited about a game ever than Grand Theft Auto 5. Mallory can attest to this.
Yeah.
Because leading up to it, I told her every single day.
You would watch the trailer at least once a week that I knew of.
I really liked Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, really, really liked it. In fact, I liked it so much that there were many times I've contemplated doing a second Let's Play. I'm serious. I've contemplated doing a second Let's Play in first person on the computer.
I don't think Chaz would like that.
No, Chaz wouldn't like that. But like that, it's seriously how much I enjoyed that game. I've always enjoyed GTA. I've always enjoyed the idea of, like, I like the game, and I like the sense of humor. I know not everyone jives well with that sense of humor, but for me personally, the thing that makes it so much fun is that it is such a sandbox for you to invent your own fun, and I've always really liked that. That's one of the things I like about that game, and GTA Online has just made it enjoyable. That being said, after all these years, we have more or less run out of things to do in GTA Online.
Yeah, we have.
So, Rockstar, where's GTA 6? I think that's probably where I'll leave that question. There's so many other things. Skyrim was important to me too. It's hard to appreciate because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited about Elder Scrolls 6, obviously. The Bethesda games have always been a big deal for me. Yeah, I don't know. I could gush about so many things, but I'll just stop there. Agent Mitch says, for Mao, would you ever consider using other mediums such as gouache or watercolor? Or what type of medium would you like to experiment on Mao Makes one day?
I'd like to try Sculpey. I don't mind watercolor, but I don't know. It's not something I feel like confident in at all.
I mean, it's also just a very different medium.
It's completely different than acrylic. It's opposite.
It's completely opposite how you would normally approach something like that.
Yeah, but I'd like to try doing Sculpey for some. I've never done it.
To force myself into this question, I would really like at some point to like appear on Mao Makes.
You want to walk on roll?
Can I get a cameo? No, what I mean by that is I would really like at some point for you to do something that is like, you obviously have all this experience. You've been doing this is the end of your 4th year. 16, 17. Yes, you've been doing Mao Makes for 4 years. You've got all this experience. I am not an artist. I mean, I am, but not in this sense. I have the schooling to understand it and to talk about it, but I can't do it myself. I think it would be really fun to do a piece together where you do a piece and I do a piece and we see what the difference is between...
I thought you might work on the same canvas, but okay.
Oh no, God, I'd ruin yours. But like where you do a piece and then I do a piece and we're trying to do the same thing, but we obviously have very different skill sets. I think that would be entertaining.
Yeah.
And, I would not do as good, but it would be fun. I think it would be fun. Elena PT says, what is one state you haven't visited yet that you would like to?
Oregon.
All of them. My favorite state is the state of all of them. Oregon.
I'd like to see Oregon.
We're trying to... The reason I said all of them is that we're trying to actually physically go to every state.
Yeah.
We're attempting.
Yeah.
We're attempting to go to every state.
And now that we've both been... Well, that you've been to Colorado, are we even on where we've been?
Maybe.
You haven't been to Michigan.
We're both missing like 12.
You haven't been to Michigan, though.
Really?
Yeah. When would you have been to Michigan?
I don't know. I thought I went.
No, you went to Michigan City, which is in Indiana.
Well, they named it wrong.
They did. It's on Lake Michigan.
That's stupid. I don't like it. Anyway, we're missing the central states, and we're missing some of the west coast.
If you think of, like, from Arkansas, like, angling up towards, like, Montana, like, most of those states are what we're missing.
We took a road trip from California back home, and we went up the East Coast last year, although we missed Vermont. Vermont, I guarantee you, Vermont will be the last stupid state we ever visit, because we'll hit up all the other ones. We'll do Alaska, we'll do Hawaii, and then it will be like, we have to go back to Vermont!
Decoy Troy raises a good point. I'm assuming Mal's been to Upper Michigan rather than Lower Michigan. Technically, I've been to Lower Michigan, whatever that city is, right on the other side of the bridge.
Oh yeah, Upper Michigan. Yeah, that counts as that's a separate state. We gotta go there too.
Well, I've been to Upper then, and then like to whatever city that is. Is it Mackinac City or is that the one on the island?
So, we have places to go.
Yeah.
Basically, Mackinac City.
Okay, I've been to Mackinac City.
Yeah, I would. At some point, we're gonna, we will need another road trip. But based on how busy we've been with everything,
yeah.
There will not be a road trip next year. Well, not a big one.
Yeah.
Not one that goes all up into
yeah.
the Midwest and stuff. We need a year buffer. There were 2 international trips in 2019. We've never done that before. And it was and then we were forced out of our house.
Yeah.
It's been a year. Next question. Jolly Roger Gay asks, love asking this question. Figured you two would have interesting answers. What's the strangest thing you own? I will admittedly have to think about this for a moment. The strangest thing I own?
Radioactive goblets?
As we've recently discovered, actually. We do have we have goblets that have uranium.
Chad is saying Peggy, which is
not a bad answer.
Hard to explain to people who don't know what we do.
The strangest thing I own.
Same with yard toast.
Honestly, the yard toast might be the best answer. Like, it's very strange, and there's probably some other items that fall along that line of like it's an in-joke between us and the audience, and that's so difficult to explain that to anyone that's not, I mean, in the loop of this, like with our audience,
or
but then
doesn't
also,
even use like the internet or no internet culture or anything.
How do you even begin to explain to a delivery man why there's toast people in your yard? The only way to really do it is to just be like, ha, we really like bread, and leave it at that. Because you can't. There's no way. You can't be like, well, so let's start at the beginning. Hi, I am a personality on the internet, and we do a live show. Not like that. It's a live show. It's a live show where we just eat toast. Oh, you're walking away. No, it's more interesting than that. Well, maybe not actually more interesting than that, but people watch it, and sometimes the joke is that they put it in our yard. There's no way to even begin to...
Unless you're like the lawn service we use and look us up, and then they're like, so how was Vancouver? And we're like, what?
Yeah, our lawn care... Our lawn care has surprised us because they've looked up our stuff, and then they've asked about it.
We didn't even tell them what we do. They just looked us up.
Which, I mean, I guess it's reasonable that they were like checking out their customer base, and it's fine. I don't mind it. Now I'm totally used to it. But the first time it was ever mentioned, it really caught me off guard, and I was like, "I'm sorry," but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, I think that's probably the best answer to that question because, like, if there's another item in the house that I don't know if I could think of something specific. I don't have like a ball of goo or like a... There's an episode of Rocko's Modern Life where there's this little weird thing and Spunky is chewing on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I think of. Kaito Masquerade asks, what is your most memorable Christmas present? Not of this year, because there was only...
Dishes.
Because we got dishes.
Dishes.
What's your most memorable Christmas present just in general?
The locket.
Oh, that's really sweet. Mine's not going to be anywhere near that sweet.
I don't know. I can't think
that was pre-vlog. They don't even know what that is.
I know.
I gave Mal...
a heart-shaped locket.
Yeah. How long had we been dating?
Maybe that first winter.
So we had been dating like 9 months.
Yeah.
And I gave Mal a locket necklace, and it has a picture of us in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Stretch Armstrong. But yours is good too. I just, Stretch Armstrong is like a really unique. As soon as I read this, I was like, most memorable Christmas present. I was like, wow, Stretch Armstrong. And I was like, I got a locket from my future husband. And I'm like, and you could stretch his left arm and then his right arm? Really went in the different okay, so Stretch Armstrong. Another one that is... I don't know why I think Stretch Armstrong is so memorable to me because I killed him. And I remember being horrified because...
your mom's told that story.
My mom's told the story
Mm-hmm.
before, but like you can kill Stretch Armstrong. If you pull him far enough, he does break. And one day I had gotten bigger. I'd gotten, because I was growing all the time. As a kid, I just like my arms were like dragging. It was really bad. So anyway, I took the Stretch Armstrong and I'd gotten taller. So I like kept stretching him and I was big and strong. And he popped. Like his arm or leg or something came off and like there was goo and I was like, oh my God, I was screaming. And my mom like had to console me and she told me that we would bury him. I don't think my dad actually buried Stretch Armstrong. I think they told me they did, but I think he went in the garbage. But they told me they were going to bury him.
Ow.
They did. I know they didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, a different one that's also very memorable, and is very indicative of how sweet my parents are, is that there was one Christmas where it was the year that the Xbox 360 was coming out. I don't remember when that was. Does anyone remember? 2006?
Oh, I don't know.
I believe it was 2006. Seems right. Chat can confirm. Is it 2005? It's around that time. And I wanted... I was hoping to get an Xbox 360. That was what I wanted. And I knew that they were going to be really hard to get. 2005, apparently. And that Christmas morning, I woke up and I opened gifts, and it was a nice Christmas. Like, it was not like it didn't feel like anything was like missing. Like, there was a lot of stuff, and there was no Xbox 360. And my mom told me, she said, "Listen, I'm really sorry. Like, we tried really hard to get you an Xbox 360. Like, we tried to find one and we just couldn't get one." I was like, it's totally fine. Like, I really appreciate it that you tried, but like, it's fine, whatever, no problem. And we went out and had lunch, and then we came back, and when we came back, there was a new present under the tree. And like, Mom, my mother was like, "What's that? Santa came back!" And I was like, I don't think he does that. I don't think that's really in his contract.
It's 2005, so you're like,
I'm 16 years old. But even now, my mom, every present we opened was from Santa, every single one. And my mom's like, "Santa must have come back. Santa came back. You better open it. Could be it. Who knows?" So of course I open it, and it's the Xbox 360, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And Mom told me, she said, they had to do some wild, crazy stuff to get a hold of it. Circuit City still existed at the time, which really dates the story. And she said that she had talked to a salesperson and basically pleaded that she was really trying to get a hold of this system.
I don't know how your mom does it, but she always does stuff like that.
She manages to get...
She talks to salespeople and
she can sweet talk people to give her the information. Yeah. But she basically sweet talked to the employee or the manager or the office or the floor manager or whatever to like tell her when the truck was coming. And the guy was like, "Listen, the truck is going to come at this time. If you're here, when we put it on the floor, you'll be able to get it." And so they did. They showed up right when the truck was going to be there, and whenever they brought it out, like, she got it. And like, she's done stuff like that my entire life. Like, she always is going above and beyond to make every little thing special. But that she has surprised me a million times over the years. But that I remember very vividly being 100% sure, like, there was no Xbox. And like, I was cool with it, but the fact
you knew how hard they were to get.
Yeah. But like, all of a sudden there was an Xbox, and I was like, oh, gracious. Anyway,
she sweet talked the landlord we had when we first got the kittens.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to allow pets, and she sweet talked her.
Yeah.
And we didn't find out until Lindsay had the same landlord.
Yeah. Because they didn't want to have pets, and there was like a higher fee. Our fee was lower. Also, our rent was lower. Like, I don't know what my mom says. She has so much power. It's wild. Anyway, but every gift I've ever gotten from Mallory is the best gift that I've ever gotten.
You're not offending me in the slightest.
I know.
Your mom is magical. I don't know what she does.
I know. And also, like, me and you have never really put a huge emphasis on Christmas.
No.
Like, early on, we definitely did.
Oh, yeah, we were trying to impress each other.
Yeah, it's just a part of relationships.
Yeah.
You get older, and then it's just like...
Now it's like, what do you want? Plates? I found some. Okay, order them.
I want plates. Oh my god. Squid Baconator asks, what are some of the worst games you guys have played in the last decade? my first. Oh,
Pull back the first 20s again.
Yeah, this is bad. But do I want to call out devs this way? I don't know. Is pulling up the first 20 list wise? The worst games I've played? Generally, first 20 I play good games though. At least like semi decent games. I'm trying to think if there's any games that I was like, I don't know. I think I brought relatively good stuff to everything.
Jeff says golf with your friends. Chad is name dropping some things.
Oh, chat can probably help me out more here than anyone else, to be honest. Golf with your friends, up until recently, yeah, it was one of the worst games.
We had a lot of fun in the beginning, and then it broke, and then they fixed it again.
Super Seducer, yeah, Super Seducer. Super Seducer is my Yikes game of the decade. Getting that Yikes award. I was looking through First 20, but honestly, a lot of the stuff that I played on First 20 was, it was all at least pretty good. It's the reason I played it in the first place.
Yeah.
There's certainly things that don't stick out as well as others. But for the most part, they're actually, I'm actually happy about that. Like, I spent most of the last 10 years playing good games in some capacity. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. I'm looking through and there's a lot of good stuff in here. There's some stuff that's not. Ripped Pants at Work was not good. It's not really good, but most of this other stuff has been really good. Honestly. Y2K actually was probably was Y2K the worst game I played this year? I don't know even if it was the worst game I played. And it's not even bad, but there's a lot of very specific problems with it. Chaz says Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball was the best game you played, right? Yeah. That one. That's the one. That's the one I like. Chicken Little on GameCube. Yeah, Extra Life's probably a good source of information there. This isn't a question. Well, it is technically a question. Not David Lynch says, you still thinking about those horses?
Thinking about those horses.
Thinking about those horses.
Which ones?
Horses. BC 2014.
Don't worry, we're just starting up GTA Online.
That's a weird thing to...
Horses.
The timing on that was insane. There's no way that you could have planned that better. It was amazing. You thinking about those horses? What am I doing with my life? BC 2014 asks, is there a food you've never had but you'd really like to try it? Durian.
I would like to try durian.
Durian.
We watched a video on someone in South America going to a market and just like all the different fruit, and I was like, I want to try all of it.
Yeah, I remember that. Johnny Harris did that. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much things like that. I'm not as interested, like, when people are like, oh, it's a bug on a stick. I'm like, don't really want to eat the bug on stick.
No. We saw those in China.
And I didn't eat one.
No.
I was like, I'm good. Don't really want to eat that. Don't really have a desire to eat some of the, like, weird out there foods. I just want to eat food that is from different countries that, like, we can't get. Durian is one of those
You can get durian here. It's just really hard to get.
Where is it?
I saw it in Milwaukee. Rhonda almost bought some.
Oh. Winterstore said natto? I mean, I've had opportunity to try natto. I did not try natto. Because I was like, it's stinky. It's stinky, I don't want to try it. But like durian...
durians are stinky.
Yeah, but durian's a fruit. I'll eat it as fruit. I don't know if I want to eat stink beans.
Fermented soy?
Yeah, stink beans. Stank beans. What was I doing?
We had a lot of strange stuff that morning we went to that breakfast. And we had all the little...
And, like, I don't mind trying...
Oh, no, I tried everything.
I tried
like
everything.
But I tried everything.
But, like, the weird out there stuff, I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, yeah, put that in my mouth hole. Like, I don't want to do that. Got a question from Kendall HX, who says, if you could travel to any event in the past, Magic Treehouse style, what would you want to experience? This is hard.
Really hard.
That's really hard. I don't even know.
I don't know.
I'm more interested in going into the future. Personally. Like, there's a lot of really interesting things that happened before this present time, but I'm most interested to see what's coming up. I would, if I had 10 tokens to go into the past, and like I could go into the past 10 times, but I could take all my 10 tokens to go into the future once, I would go into the future. I don't want to know like when I die or anything, but I want to see
the technology.
Of course, maybe that'd just be really depressing. Like to go into the future and be like, check this out.
Or too overwhelming. Like, imagine someone from like the 1400s coming to 2020 and being like,
yeah,
I have most of the entirety of human knowledge on this that I can get to at any time.
I feel like I would adjust quick.
To the future?
Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe not. Like, it's the future and everyone knows everything all the time.
I just want to dress up in period clothing.
So we know where you would go. Yeah, that's a hard question for me, honestly, because I'm trying to think of like one very specific thing I'd really like to see in person. Like, what would have been something like you really had to be there to see? Like, is there some art piece that you would have liked? Would you have liked to have been at the what was the thing in France where they showed off all of the art?
Oh, like an exhibition?
Yeah, but there was like, wasn't there like a big one? It was like the thing. I don't know. You have the art history knowledge, not me.
I mean, there were many of them.
Would you like to have been there when dude cut his ear off?
No.
Or when he finished Starry Night?
No. Like, I don't know.
I don't have a good answer for it. I just want to go to the future. So I reject your question and I say, I want to go to the future. I want to see what VR is going to be like in 5 years.
Only 5 years ahead? You know, I could go into the past 10 times or the future once. Let's go 5 years.
At least if I went 5 years, I would at least get to experience that, most likely. I would be like, oh, cool, I know what's coming up. Really neat. Oh, my God. Oh, I know what I would do. Holy crap. I would go, like, 5 years into the future and write down on my arm every winner of, like, the World Series. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Yeah, there'd be no purpose to go to 500 years in the future. I would just go 5 years in the future, write down all the numbers, and then come back.
Some people in chat are talking about, like, historical things that don't exist anymore, like the Library of Alexandria. I think that would be cool. Because sometimes I think about, like, when we're driving around, how cool it would be to have glasses that let you see how things looked in the past. So, like, to see how, like, the Parthenon or, like, you know, any of those things looked.
Sure, yeah.
At their peak. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon?
Yeah, we actually just watched a video, and we experienced it ourselves when we were at Greece, but they were talking about, like, the statues are all white marble, but they were painted.
Yeah. I remember that from art history, though.
Yeah, and I mean, also, when we were there, they had exhibitions about that.
Yeah.
Like, that would be neat.
And they had that with the Terracotta Army, too, that there's pigment on them.
Jazz said the World's Fair.
Yeah. There's been multiple ones of those.
Well, I mean...
The one in France, you mean?
Well, I was going to talk about the one where the Men in Black got started. I'll move on. Jan Meepler asks, what projects... Such spooky music. What projects, like the Malbix video, would you like to see happen in the future for Steven and Mal separately? So, like, weird... Not necessarily one-offs, but...
I have a plan to make cookies.
Plan to make cookies?
Yeah.
So you have more Malbix ideas?
Yeah, cookies.
Cookies.
Spritz.
Mal wants to do more Malbix.
Uh-huh.
I
also want to build stuff. I wanted to build a headboard.
For me, I've already talked about how in 2020, a lot of what's going to happen is going to be, I'm going to be working on solo stream stuff. I'm going to be doing more games and different games than I would have normally done and bringing them to Stephen Plays. There will probably be more content on Stephen Plays in 2020 than any prior year because of that. Please don't kill me over it. That being said, I've also had I've had some pretty big desires to branch out and do some other things. One of the things that brought me so much joy in 2019, and actually this might be one of my favorite projects to work on from the earlier question, is just getting a chance to do the bumpers from Coliseum. Getting a chance to it's a return to form for me. I was doing those goofy videos in high school, and I can do them again, but this time I have like some level of knowledge of how to actually make stuff. And I already know I get to do those again. Spoilers. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's going to be exciting. So I'm looking forward to doing those. And, maybe to some extent those sorts of things on our own. We have not done like the Pikmin and the Ocarina of Time style videos in a while.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to justify spending the time doing those when so much other stuff is crashing and burning around you. But if we can get caught up, I will feel more comfortable to bring those sorts of things back. So I would love to do that. I also thought about doing more talking head style videos because I have a nice setup here. Mm-hmm. Like the Morning Mario thing where like there's lights and stuff. Where I talk about my thoughts on some things. And that could even take over a vlog day where maybe I give a very in-depth review of a game that's full of spoilers, but like it's my official review for something after finishing a Let's Play or something.
No.
It would just be talking heads type thing, but I've thought about doing that. Jolly Roger Gay asks, is cereal soup?
No.
No. Foss Extreme says, having tried many Kit Kats this year, which one would you guys say is your favorite?
Raspberry, pistachio, or butter, or those fancy volcanic chocolate ones.
Oh, the volcanic chocolate ones were good.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, they were very, very good. The ones that Jay sent that were like caramel crunch.
Yes, I remember
those
which ones.
were good, and then there was another one with it that were like espresso.
Oh yeah, those were really good too.
Mm-hmm. Those, and then the volcanic ones might be my absolute favorite. And definitely not anything with rum.
Or sake?
Rum or sake, no. No. Never. God, no. Dark Overlord asks, Mal, what is the painting skill you feel you improved the most in 2019? And I'm sure Steven has ideas on this too. So, from a painting aspect, what did you got better at rocks?
I did get
not that that is like not
rocks.
that that's like a skill.
Oh no, it's a skill.
But yeah, like you got better at painting rocks. That was your biggest adversary forever.
Yeah, it was. Many tears shed over rocks.
Could have filled up several gallon jugs.
Yeah.
Painting is an emotional journey.
Yeah,
you have no idea. There is a roller coaster of. I don't want to like talk too much about this, but like it's. You guys don't know. Like, I can do this. I got this, and then you get to a point where like there's actually before you get up to the top, you're like, yeah, I can do this, and then there's a valley, and the valley is like, I'm a failure, imposter syndrome. I can't do this. And there are many tears shed usually in the valley, and then I have to be there to be like,
not every painting.
Not every painting. But like some paintings, they're bad, and I'm like, oh God, no, you're good. And then eventually, then the apex, and like, yes, I can do this, and then you finish it. And I honestly think that so many artists can relate to this. But like, it's really hard because Mao is doing this as a job. The paintings that she's doing it's their first try. There is no practice. You're getting a chance to see her do this. This is it. And there's a lot of times where she'll be like, either like I ruined this or I cannot do this. Like it's impossible. And she's just really, really, really upset. And you need consoled. And then it gets better.
The painting I'm doing now, though, is really good. And I felt like that doing the whole thing. It's just very time consuming.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, you're going to give away.
I did that the other day on breakfast stream.
They're going to be like, what? There's dots? What? As for me, obviously I didn't do painting. But I have thoughts on what you improved on. Mine was rocks.
Yeah, rocks.
But I can answer it in terms of...
I also feel like lighting.
Yeah.
Because I did some stuff with lighting and I really liked it. Like, the Bioshock piece is very dramatic and I love that about it.
Good. It's really good.
The Link's Awakening piece I just did last month has a lot of dramatic lighting and I really like that.
Yeah. For me, applying this like skills I feel I improved on in 2019, I think 2019 has been, and I don't know if everyone else feels like this about the work I've put out, but I feel like this about the work I've put out. That I have improved more in 2019 than any other year in terms of my eye for every aspect of like the vlog. Caring more about, and it's really hard whenever I say that about things that are like from the past few months, because I've just been spitting out vlogs very quickly. But on the times when I have a chance to take my time, frame things, and I'm not under the restriction of like trying to catch up, I feel like I've done better with composition, with flow. My big obsession in 2019 has been color, to a very detrimental degree. Chaz said, you did some good Japan videos, buddy. Thank you, Chaz. And Japan was something that I like, was a joy to work on. Japan was the highlight of my year.
Editing-wise.
From a production point for me. And I liked China too, but I also approached China with a very different mindset.
Because you were very limited.
Well, I was limited, but also like I was more comfortable in Japan.
Yeah, because we'd been there.
Because I had been there, I was with my friends.
Yeah.
Like everything about that trip was more comfortable, and so I felt more comfortable shooting stuff. Like obviously, when we're on our trip in China, I'm not going to like shoot people, and like I don't mind getting up in Chaz's face.
Yeah. But the people like we were on the tour group with, like they don't know what we do. A lot of them were older.
Yeah. So Japan, just in general, and like Fossick says, familiarity with the culture too. Like that, it all plays a very big part. So like Japan, the stuff I put out from Japan is my highlight of this year for my
We just have to go back to Japan again.
We will.
This year.
No. No, not this year. But yeah. I have a new obsession with color, and I need new equipment to fully...
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. We need a car. We
Yeah.
need a car. We need a
Yeah.
car in 2020, but one of my goals, maybe 2020, would be to get a monitor, like a color-accurate monitor, to finally start jumping into the world that no one cares about but me and Jeff. Like the things that are very specific that keep me up at night. That, and then also hopefully getting a vlog camera at some point in the near future that will shoot 10-bit internal that keeps the same size of a mirrorless camera. Yeah. That's not the XT3, because I want the flip-up screen. What was I doing?
Reading the next question.
Hugplex20 asks, Stephen the Mao, who's your favorite video game protagonist? One of the most fun, and he's a little cookie cutter, but one of the most fun is Nathan Drake. Partially because you get to experience him, and then also like his sidekicks, like through so many different games, and they feel like blockbuster movies, and they're so good. So that's really good. But he is a bit cookie cutter as far as like interesting, like with big character development. Probably not Nathan Drake. But that's a good quick answer. Do you have a quick answer for that? Because I'm like,
Joel?
Joel has more interesting character development than Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Joel is a very good choice. God, I know who I'm going to say. Jesus Christ. I just friggin' finished playing it. Arthur doggone Morgan. Arthur Morgan.
What about antagonist?
I don't want to spoil Red Dead for you, but like, there's Red Dead. Say what you want about the gameplay, and there's some parts. It's a Rockstar game. There's some parts in it that aren't as strong as other things, but the story is so good. Oh my god, it's really good.
I really liked Pagan Men for an antagonist.
Pagan men.
He just calls Ajay up and he's like, "Who lights all these candles?" And
he is a really good antagonist. I haven't thought about Far Cry 4 in a long time. Man, yeah. Pagan Men's a good choice for antagonist. I'm going to move on because otherwise I'll sit here all day. But Arthur Morgan for me. Yeah, Arthur Morgan. Even considering like everything I've played in the past 10 years, Arthur Morgan. What a powerful story in the game. Miss Ray Moose says, what is something you'd both like to do, either together or independently, in 2020 that you feel you didn't do enough in 2019? Oh, this is the saddest answer.
Spend time together.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things on the schedule is like having evenings off and playing like BioShock on the couch while you help me because I get scared.
Yeah, this is a big oof answer, but I mean, it's true. 2019 was hard. 2019 was hard for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things that contributed to us getting behind. Some things in our control, some things not in our control. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I am focused on doing better in 2020 is making sure that we can spend some quality time together.
Like, because we never even got to go out for our anniversary.
I mean, not explicitly, but but intrinsically.
Yeah, like, we haven't had, like, a date night because, like, we used to, and I would, like, I get to wear a dress because I don't wear dresses otherwise, and I like wearing dresses.
It's true.
And we didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, but also there's been a lot of things just in general around the house that, like, It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. I had said earlier.
Also, our anniversary is like not at a great time because there's so many tourists around, and they make date nights really awful. Because 2 years ago, we went on one, and like we just had to listen to this guy complain the whole time because he was on vacation and he couldn't believe.
We have a really interesting life. My life is so interesting. What I mean by that is like we work at home, we spend our time together. Also, what is playing? It has lyrics.
Uncheck.
No, I want to hear it again later, but not right now. I was like, what is that? What a weird song. This is what happens when you get a live Q&A. We spend so much time together, and it's good that we do.
Yeah.
But we also don't get to spend time always doing the things we want to do. Like, I'm very happy that we get to be together.
Yeah.
Because, like, our chemistry is, we'll say, good.
To put it mildly.
Like, really good. Mao and I get along really, really well, and we're best friends, and we enjoy spending time together all the time. But so much of the time that we spend together is, we do a lot of work.
Yeah.
We eat our meals, and there's not enough time for us to, like, breathe and to do things like play games. And December's been, and this is a bad question to answer right this second because December has been a bad example.
Yeah.
Because throughout the rest of the year, there have been moments where it's like, okay, we get to do things.
Yeah.
But December in general has been really, really nose to the, what do they call it?
Grindstone.
Yeah. December, for as hard as so many other parts of this year have been, for a variety of reasons, December was the most self-inflicted pain because of, like, I was like, I am going to catch up vlogs. This is do or die. Do it, Steven. And, like, good on me that I've done it, but also at the expense of, like, everything. And your painting has kept you, like, even if I would have been available, you wouldn't have been available because the painting that you picked has been real hard.
But I love it.
And I want you to love things.
I love all my children paintings. But this one I'm just putting so much into that it's going to be hard to let go.
Basically, December had been hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nice to see the light at the end of the tunnel for the first time all year. Things were good until we went to Japan. And as soon as we went to Japan, since then, things have been like, oh no.
Well, it was Japan, TRG, and you have to move. And
you also went home.
And I also went to Wisconsin, you know. And then we had China and...
Yeah, there's been a lot of things. So 2019's been hard. Me and Mao have actually had this conversation multiple times this month where there's been multiple times. Yeah, also this Q&A getting very real. But there's been multiple times this month.
It's also super hot up here. I'm like dying.
Why didn't we turn the air down?
I don't know. Finish this question and then we'll go turn the air down.
Okay. It's live. One of the things that has made December so hard is, like, multiple times throughout this month, we have had a very specific conversation about, like, oh my God, because there's so much that we're trying to accomplish, but we also have done so with the understanding that we are on the cusp of changing everything. Like, in January, when things are finally caught up, like, I will be able to breathe for the first time in forever. And, like, we've been so excited about streaming.
Yeah.
Because we did Link's Awakening, but, like, as for things that are, like, in reserve, we did Shape-Shifting Detective. That's 10 episodes. We did Arise. That's 9 episodes. That's 19 videos that are going to come out on the Steven Plays. We are creating a buffer, and we've been doing a lot of one-offs, but we have plans for more of this. Like, we are going... So before we start releasing extra content on Steven Plays, we are having a buffer. So 2020 is shaping up to be the first time in a while where, like, oh, things will be good. Vlogs will be caught up. I can start working on Fallout again. I can catch up the old stuff. We have a huge buffer of content on Steven Plays. So, like, at least once a week in December, we've had this conversation of, like, this is hard, but we have to keep an eye on the bigger picture. And we've been doing it.
Yeah.
Do you want to turn the air down?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Here, I'll mute your mic. Eat a cookie. No, I can't. I don't have anything to drink. You bring me a drink? A water? Another water? It's you can fill this one if you want. Yeah, it's very hot in here. Anyway, I'm not cutting any of this out of the YouTube version, so so too bad. This is all being left in. Here's the thing. This is I know this has already went longer than most of our Q&As go, but you get one. This is the one that we're doing. We're doing one. And when you're doing just one, you do it a little bit longer. Because this is the last gaming stream of the year, and it's Q&A. Fossick says, so one that's the length of 4 is a few. It's the length of a few. Good cookie though. Anyway, I knew that Mao and I would have the same answer. As soon as I read that question, I was like, oh boy. I know the answer to this. I'm going to go ahead and answer the next question because I don't need Mao to do it. The next question's from Rubbish Mentality, who asks, have you considered doing Mario Party 2 and onwards in the future? I'm going to spoil a project. We started Mario Party 2. We haven't actually done one in a while, but there are two episodes of it? Maybe 3. At least 2. At least 2 episodes of it. Maybe 3. I wouldn't say that it's coming out soon. And the reason I say that is because I don't know when it's going to be ready. It's basically we take our time and try to make the guests interesting and vary them up. And then when we have it ready, we'll release it. So it's not ready. But at some point in the near future, we'll be doing that. Let me see if I can jump down to a question that only I can answer while Mao is getting some things. Here's a good one. This is from CFO Seeker, who says, for someone just starting vlogs, do you have any recommendations? Yes. Yes, I do. My first recommendation is don't buy any equipment, because you probably have a cellular telephone. And I would advise anyone doing anything to start as low cost into it as you can. Do it for a while and get used to it. Make sure it's something you want to continue doing before you start investing into it. And there's some hobbies where like you can't do that. There's going to be occasions where, depending on what you're trying to do, you can't. Like if you want to do Let's Plays, then you're probably going to need some way to record game footage, right? But with a vlog, you got a phone, and phones are good at video now. So I would start with that. And the other big recommendation I have to anyone that's starting to do a vlog is, sorry, I got your mic ready. Here you go. The other big recommendation I have to anyone starting a vlog is to not commit to a daily thing. Like, I don't know how to tell people. Like, you better than anyone else. But I feel like for most people, that's too much of a commitment.
It's a very lofty goal.
It is a lofty goal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm crazy. I have something in my genetics that if I decide I'm going to do something, I'll just do it. And that can be extremely detrimental. But also, it's not like required. And a lot of people, especially at the beginning when they're starting to do things, it's very difficult for them to create stuff that is genuinely interesting for them.
And you tend to be doing something else when you start, whether it's another job or school or...
Yeah, that's the other thing. This is my job. Like, I do this as my job. It's really hard if you're trying to balance in other things. My personal recommendation for anyone that wants to start a vlog is to, number one, start it for you. Like, make sure that it is because you want to do it. It's because you want to log something. You want to have a video diary of things that are going on in your life. And the other thing is do it on a weekly format. Make one video a week. Film throughout the week as things are of interest to you. So that takes the commitment from 7 days a week to 1. If interesting things happen 3 of those days, then shoot 3 of those days. But if they don't, then don't worry about it. And just tell yourself that you're at least going to shoot something 1 time a week. And if your week is packed with super cool, interesting stuff, then go for it. But otherwise, don't feel obligated. This is a format that a lot of people I've seen have done, and it's easier for them to do. It's also easier for the audience to digest because they only have to watch a weekly video. Not a strike against my own stuff, but it's true. Tom Fox does this. It's a good format for him. He can film stuff throughout the week. He's not obligated to film something every day, but he can get all of the interesting bits and make it into just a single video that people can see an entire week's worth of stuff. That's my personal recommendation. Welcome back.
Thanks. Zane keeps trying to get in the pantry. I think it's because we put that new dry food in there.
That's where the goodies are.
I know.
He loves the goodies.
He knows it.
I got a question from FJ Time. What is one thing you are doing today that 10 years ago you would have never envisioned doing?
This.
Painting?
This. What was 10 years ago? 2010? What was I doing? We weren't even married yet.
It was 10 years ago. Oh, God, it's on the vlog. Man, okay. My answer might change. I was doing this. Crap. But you weren't.
No.
Forgot. was like, wait, 10 years ago was on video. It was the first Christmas we spent together. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, for you, this, I'm sure.
I mean, even in college, I didn't think I'd be painting. I took a painting course in college, and I was like, not for me. I like graphic design and photography.
You are such a photographer.
Yeah.
Like, when I met you, that was your thing.
Yeah.
Painting, what? If you would have told me 10 years ago, like, if you would have told me when me and Mal were dating, that Mal would become a painter, I'd be like, why? I would have been like, how? What? She doesn't paint. She's a photographer. That would have been my answer. I've been like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mallory's like exhibitions. Is that what you call it? Exhibitions? What do you call, where you put your stuff on display?
A show?
Your show. Mallory did shows and stuff.
My senior show?
Yeah.
And then we did an art ed show.
It was photography.
And everyone else was a painter. Oh my gosh.
So, like...
everyone in my group was a painter.
It's been a weird 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a weird 10 years. My thing 10 years ago, I always thought, once I got started doing this, I thought that I could do this full time. But I remember very, very vividly finishing college and thinking that it would take 5 years. I remember graduating from college in 2011, and I remember very vividly because I started the vlog 2009. It was late 2009. It took me 1 year to the day I got partnership, so I started getting able to like put ads on stuff. So it was late 2010. From late 2010, so from November 2010 to April 2011, it took 6 months, and I got my first check from Google. You had to get $100, and it took me 6 months to make $100, and I was over the moon about it because I was super excited. I was like, "Oh my god, I made money," and that was really exciting. But based on that, 6 months to make $100, I was thinking back to it, and I was like, okay, well, maybe in like 5 years, I could do this full time. And it moved faster than that. I mean, for what it's worth, I was not making very livable money for a long time. Bless you. But, it did move more quickly than I thought it would, because based on my assumption, it would have been like 2015, 2016 before I would have ever been starting to really do this full time. And instead, I just dove into it that year, actually. Mm-hmm. It was rough. It was a rough year. But 2012, a little better.
Yeah.
It got there. Juvenation asked, what have you thought about the reception to Malbakes? It's been good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been excited.
Yeah.
And honestly, my favorite thing about Malbakes has been seeing people on social media, and then also in the comments, say, I made your pie, and it was awesome. I have loved that.
Yeah, me too.
Like, when people send Mal pictures of the pie, like, I made it, and everyone loved it, and it was delicious. I'm like, I didn't even make the pie, but I'm like, oh, I'm so good. I'm so glad.
You're so good.
I meant to say glad. I'm so good. I made the pie. It was me.
I know one of the things people had said, they said it'd be really nice if you did like a tasting at the end. Like, I had you come in and we both tasted it, which would work normally, like on cookies or something. But the pie was for Thanksgiving, and I needed to keep it whole.
We needed to do that, and then also, I actually don't like pumpkin pie. So that would have been a bad one for me. But most other things would have worked.
Like Renee says, my mom doesn't like pumpkin pie. I made your pie, and it was the first time she liked a pumpkin pie.
We also have a question from PokeNerd86. Have you wanted to do a non-gaming or breakfast-based stream? And if so, what kind? So something else on Twitch that wouldn't be breakfast or gaming.
I mean, like, I know we said earlier, like, I don't have plans to do a Mel Make stream, but I think it'd be fun. It's just I don't have plans for it.
I want to do a karaoke stream.
You have fun with that.
I don't know when. It's a whole thing. Twitch Sings exists. Twitch Sings is a whole thing, and it's really cool. There's all this licensed music that you're allowed to use. The downside is you can't make clips, you can't make VODs. It basically, you have to be there live to experience it, and that's it, because of the whole licensing issue. But we could do it, and it seems like it'd be a lot of fun, and I'm thinking maybe what we'll do is at some point in the future for maybe a ChefCon. I don't know who would be down for it. I'm obviously down for it. I know Chaz would be down for it. If we could get some people like in that group to do it and to do a live
Alex
karaoke
sings
stream.
well. Jeff sings well.
Jeff says, heck yes.
Lindsay sings well. I don't.
Alex's go-to song is Roxanne.
Yeah, it is.
Roxanne! Anyway, that's my big thing. And then we'll see about 2020. But I've got... I don't want to promise anything, but I've got two very distinct ideas in mind that are, well, they're gaming. They're just not video gaming, which might just give away what I'm talking about. But we'll see if they happen in 2020. I don't know if they will, but they might. They could. One King of the Nerd says, what was the most difficult project in the first and second half of the decade? Oh, this is easy answer for me. This is my Skyrim ball, and this is my Fallout ball. Well, I answered that one.
I think my hardest painting was Shadow of the Colossus. That was the one that had the most tears.
I think that was the one where you realized, I can't paint rocks.
Yeah, that was that one.
I can't paint rocks.
Yeah.
I've never heard any human being cry about rocks so much, but I don't know where Shadow of the Colossus went. Like, I don't know who has it. They might be here tonight.
I might be wrong, but I think I know.
But anyway, if you have it, cherish it. There were so many emotions poured out because of that painting. My God, like that was this half of the decade.
Yeah.
Your first half.
Oh, I don't know.
You didn't have a project. Your project was children, and you had plenty of difficult children.
Plenty of projects.
I could probably leave it at that. Philpo39 says, for Mal, of all of the Studio Ghibli films you've seen, which ones in addition to Howl's Moving Castle would you put on your all-time favorite films list?
Spirited Away is up there. I have ones I want to see, but like...
Well, that's not...
I know.
My favorite one is the one I haven't seen yet.
I can't even think... I've seen Castle in the Sky, because Let's Play Baseball Curse mentioned it. I haven't seen all of Totoro, which it kills me. I want to. We watched it in Japanese class.
We should probably watch that. I'm fairly certain we have it. We do have it.
We do have it, yes.
Yeah. We should watch it.
I want to see The Wind Also Rises. I wasn't a big fan of Arrietty.
This also reminds me of one of the things that was like, what do you want to do in 2020? And I realized that in 2019, I never watched a single film. Hi, I'm the film student. And in 2020, I want to fix that. At least a little bit.
I really want you to see Spirited Away.
We'll try and fix that at least a little bit. We used to do movie club, and then and so many things fell apart. We could not keep it up. Mm-hmm. But maybe we'll be able to bring that back too. Because I really liked that. God, I really liked that. I miss that so much. It was, and also one of the fun things for me was seeing how different the films were that everyone picked.
Yeah.
Like, and this is nothing against Lindsay at all, but the movies that Lindsay had on her list would have never been on my list.
You were a film student.
Very different movie selection. But the ones that we watched that were from her list weren't bad.
Lindsay was a theater and choir kid in high school.
I know.
So
they were just completely different. And even like me and Dan were like 50-50. Mm-hmm. There were some that I aligned really strongly with Dan on, mm-hmm. and then other ones would be like, I'd be like, I don't know. No, I would never have watched this. So that's one of the things I liked most, is it exposed us to things I'd like never seen.
Yeah.
Scoot says Marvel. I have to watch the Marvel film. I've never seen any of them.
You mentioned to Lindsay you wanted to watch all the Harry Potter, so that's going to happen.
Yeah, I've committed to that. I told everyone in the vlog audience to hold me to it. I am going to watch every Harry Potter film next year. And I'd also like to just go ahead and include the rest of the Star Wars films.
Yeah.
I watched 4, 5, and 6 in 2018. I need to watch 1, 2, and 3. Let me watch them. And then this last thing that just came out. I have to see that. Anyway, Sonic Racer 101 says, out of every Let's Play you've completed, which one was your favorite to make? I mean...
Twilight Princess, Tulip.
Tulip was fun. Mario Kart was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Mario Kart was so much fun to make. Like, Fallout is a bit of my baby. Skyrim is also my baby. Fallout was a much more difficult baby. So I have, like, special ties to that. Red Dead 2, to a certain extent. But Mario Kart and Tulip, like, really strike me as, like, some of the most fun. And there's been other ones that have been good, and the games have been good, but, like, Mario Kart, like, the gameplay makes that. Like, that is our Let's Play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can play a narrative, and it's always going to be that narrative. You can spin it in a certain way, but, like, it's a narrative. Mario Kart is gameplay. It is our game. And, like, that's something that makes it really unique.
Now, there's one I want to do that I think you would really enjoy. Okage.
Maybe next year. Anise Vandervault says, what is your favorite flavor of coffee or tea? Thanks for the great content and congrats on catching up with the vlog. Well, thank you. Black tea. If we're talking about teas, my favorite tea is any sort of black tea. I'll drink anything, but black tea is my favorite.
Herbal fruity tea.
You like that? And like, I drink my coffee black. And I don't necessarily care. Dark roast is what I like, but I'm the same way with coffee as I am tea. Like, I'll really drink anything.
Yeah. I prefer a dark roast, but I mean, Jeff has made light roast and it's been really good, so.
Yeah.
Like, but when I've had light roast K-cups, which I know is lower in quality than Jeff's light roast.
Sure.
I wasn't a fan of it then. So
my favorite tea, like, if I was just gonna have, if there's a cupboard of tea, I could reach in and grab a tea. I'm 99% of the time I'm gonna go with, like, Earl Grey. Earl Grey, Irish breakfast tea, Lady Grey, black tea. Like, the most English breakfast thing that you can imagine. Tea time, whatever. Like, that's me. That's what I want to drink. Gold Mage 162 says, are you excited for Elder Scrolls 6 eventual release and to do a run of it similar to what you did in Skyrim and Fallout, or have the large backlogs of projects this year and other things made you rethink or reconsider something like that again? I will just go ahead and tell you, Elder Scrolls 6 will be a thing, and it will be streamed. You're welcome if that is exciting, and I'm sorry if that's not. The only way I could ever feasibly tackle a project of that scale ever again would be to stream it. And I don't know if I've ever said that publicly, but this is me saying it. I cannot do it again. The thing that made Skyrim and Fallout so incredibly difficult is the fact that I committed to doing them one at a time. And, like, that's crazy. It's crazy. It's so hard to produce things like that. Getting a chance to do them in a batch, even a small batch, makes a huge difference. Especially now that Dan is editing them. It just couldn't happen. And because Twitch and streaming is basically that concept, but instant, it's an even better format.
Yeah.
I can get feedback immediately. I don't have to wait. I can just get feedback. And I can still make my own characters and make my own storylines, and I can still do all of that. But yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 will happen. It'll probably be a day one stream. When we start getting more information about it, it'll probably be this year. I'm going to start getting really excited about it. But, like, it'll be... Yeah, and you get to hear a lot about it. Aren't you excited? But it'll be streamed. Absolutely Absolutely be streamed. Let's see here. Wildfire972 asks, what are the major plans for 2020 in terms of content? Now, I'm not going to reveal very much because we like to keep some surprises.
Yeah.
And then also, that's also one of the perks of being a patron, too, is that we tell patrons basically exclusively things that are coming up.
Yeah.
As we figure them out, we let them know. And that's one of the big perks. But I will say, as far as like major plans, obviously we're going to be putting an emphasis on streaming stuff. Gaming streams are going to be a thing, which are going to produce more content that will eventually come out onto YouTube, because we'll be doing some of that stuff episodically. And then also at some point in the year, I want to do solo stuff, which will produce even more stuff. But with all of that said, there will still be traditional Let's Plays. Those aren't going away. There are projects that they just have to be done that way, in my opinion. BioShock Infinite, I don't want to stream it. I want it to be produced. And there's other games like that. Last of Us 2, I can already tell you now, I want to play that. That's going to come out in 2020. It's going to come out on Steam Plays in 2020. But it will not be streamed because it's emotional, it's serious. It has to be handled in a certain way. So that's like a spoiler. There you go. Andrew in the kitchen asks a question. Says, I've been reflecting as we come to the end of the year and the decade, and I realized how much I've changed in the past 10 years, going from 11 to 21. What are some changes that either of you have noticed about each other in the last year and decade?
You never change.
I haven't changed?
No.
I've been told
That you don't even look old enough to vote by the lady at the polling station.
I've been told, and recently I've heard this a lot, because we've hit 10 years on Stephen Vlog and people have had a chance to go back and forth. Mm-hmm. I've been told a lot that people think I'm a vampire. They're like, you don't look different. Why? And like, I disagree. When I look back on videos from 10 years ago, I see.
You look like a kid.
I see a child.
Yes. I see a child.
Thanks. Love of my life.
You're a kid.
But I do. I don't agree with the consensus. Like when I see myself from vlogs from a long time ago.
You know what's interesting to me is, I mean, I look at myself and I feel like I've aged.
Yeah.
But like, I was talking to Michael the other day and I was complaining about how we were talking about something and I was saying that I didn't wear makeup because it irritates my skin and I have trouble really bad if I wear it. He's like, wait, you don't wear makeup? And I was like, no. It's like, I can't remember the last time I wore makeup.
I came up with a good, because I think we're answering this for each other.
Yeah.
I came up with one for you.
What?
And everyone is going to agree with me, and I know they will. Mallory, you have become so good in front of a camera.
Yeah.
If you go back and you watch the early Let's Play projects, if you watch the early Malmix, if you watch any of that stuff, any of the early vlogs, like, the chat is exploding with yes, and like, it's incredible the amount of confidence you have gained doing this sort of speaking. And it's not easy. It takes a lot of practice, and you have done so good. And like, there's been a lot of times, especially early on, where I had to help.
Yeah.
But you did it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite examples of this, not to embarrass you, but one of my favorite examples of this is that in the early years of Malmakes, it took Mal, and this is not an exaggeration.
No, it's
Please
not.
understand that the numbers I'm about to say to you are real numbers. It took Mallory 50 minutes. 50 minutes to do her intro. I'm not kidding. Multiple videos. Multiple videos.
And
multiple
in the beginning,
videos.
you would sit in there with me to make sure I did it
I
right.
had to sit in there to coach Mallory through how to get started. Because I knew once she got past that and she could just talk about what she was doing, she would be fine. But to do her introduction...
and the outro.
Oh my God. I would go, it'd be like noon and I would walk in and I'd be like, all right, we got it all set up, so let's get started. And she would start and she would say... Hello and welcome to Mal Makes. Okay. Hello and welcome to Mal Makes. Today we're going to be doing... Oh no.
What are we doing?
and I'm just I'm behind the camera and I'm like, I can feel my blood in my body.
And you would say it for me and you'd be like, just say that. And
I would be like,
wait.
I'd be like, Mal, watch. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mal Makes. Today, we're going to be doing a painting of Shadow of the Colossus, and this is the time-lapse version. If you're interested in watching the full version, you're going to want to click on the card up screen here. Otherwise, let's jump in and get started. And I'd be like, all right, now you go. And she'd be like, so, hello? And I'd be like, no! And, like, it's so funny now because Mal nails it first time every time.
Sometimes.
Maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's normally 2.
But
just in case I did one wrong.
But Jeff points out, Jeff says, real talk, this is really, really massively hard and 50 minutes isn't a surprise. And Jeff is right. Jeff's absolutely right. It's remarkable because if you're not in that space, you're not in this creation space, you don't even think about it. But I guarantee you, every single person you watch on the internet has so much footage that gets cut, especially if they're starting something new like this. It's actually very difficult. I have had so much experience free-forming and free-flowing and speaking.
Yeah, that's why when sometimes people say, how can I get better, we recommend
improv classes. And I never took improv classes, but I know for a fact that they are extremely helpful.
Yes.
But, like, Mal's gotten so good at this. So good at this.
That said, I have not said much for this painting I'm working on. The long version's gonna be like... The full version's gonna be really boring.
It's gonna be short.
Yeah, because, like, what do I say?
And I'm doing dots over here, and now I'm doing dots over here, and there's dots in the middle, and dots over here. Dots,
I haven't talked in hours.
Yeah. Anyway... I say that to really put an even bigger emphasis on the fact that Mal got better. Like, Mal got so good. So good at it. And, not to embarrass Jeff, but I'm just reading what he wrote. That Dan PC video was excruciating for everybody involved because of the number of takes I had to do. And
Not
again,
as many as I did, Jeff. You did really good.
And again, like, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. And I even deal with that. If I'm doing a video that is more produced than a vlog, it is hard. I actually remember very vividly episode, 222 of Fallout, where I explain all of the behind-the-scenes stuff from, like, the Nora stuff I did, and being in the living room at the old place and, like, doing that, and it's just, like, take after take after take after take after take to get it. And while I don't struggle as much as Mal, it still took a while to make that video. So, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And this is why teleprompters are a thing.
Yeah.
Teleprompters. Anyway, DapperBlook64 asks, favorite indie game for each of you? Like, Baba Is You is real good. Short Hike, real good. I don't know if I should say those because, like, I already said them for...
To the Moon is good.
To the Moon is real good.
Journey is good.
To the Moon is good.
Abzu is good.
Oh, you're mentioning... How do you remember all these? These are so good.
Crunchy Tuna said Journey, and then I thought of Journey, and then Abzu.
To the Moon is also available on mobile now, so if you've never played it, get it, play it. It's real good. All the ones you mentioned are real good.
Thanks.
I really like Abzu. I haven't played it, like, obviously I haven't played it since we did the Let's Play, but, like, I really liked Abzu.
There's something about underwater, exploring, the animals all down in the water, the fish and stuff. I would play and finish Subnautica. Did you beat it? No, but I read up on what happens.
Oh, you spoiled it for you?
I didn't know what to do. I got lost.
Because I was just thinking...
I got, like, lost. And
Because I was just thinking
like
right this second, I was like, man, me and you could, like, play Subnautica, but that's not real long, and we could do it, like, for Friday streams and beat it, and then you're like, and I know what happened, and I'm like, never mind.
No, like, the stuff that happens is...
Well, I don't know what happens, so maybe we'll still play it. Also, Edith Finch.
Yeah, Edith Finch is probably
Edith Finch.
one of my all-time favorite games.
And, like, so many people have strong opinions about walking sims, and I'm just like, if you don't like it, that's fine, but God, it's good. It's so good. It's amazing what people have been able to do with this medium, and let people have that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be as interactive as God of War. It doesn't have to be as interactive as Dark Souls or whatever. Like, just, it's still a video game, and it's good. It's really good. It's really good. And, like, people are saying Undertale, but I haven't played it. Sorry, Toby. I'm going to play it, I promise. I don't know when. Maybe next year. JRub910 says, would you and Mao consider doing a versus type LP, racing each other in Pokemon or seeing who could finish the Zelda game before the other? I will say yes, and say I can't say more because it would give away plans that I have. Because I have plans to do this. I have plans for 2 different things for this, actually. So, like, yes. The answer is yes. Gwendamere asks, how did you know you wanted to be a video editor, Steven? I made stupid videos with my friends growing up in middle school and high school, and I just loved it, and I really liked the post-production part. Getting a chance to control how everything felt. Because depending on what you do in post can control tonally what happens. You can even control what happens from a plot perspective, depending on how you put things. That was always fascinating to me, and that's ultimately what pushed me to do it. What's so interesting is I did not grow up like watching films and having an appreciation for cinema. That wasn't it. I've developed that, but I didn't have that really going to college. Mine was like, I like making dumb videos. How do I make this for a living? And I just figured that would lead me towards like a Hollywood-esque cinema route, and it totally didn't. I stayed on the same route. It was like, oh, if you like making dumb videos for the internet, why don't you just do that? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that, actually. And now, 10 years later, how long has it been since college? 9 years? 9 years. Now, 9 years on, now I'm starting to get more interested in the other stuff. Now I really am interested in cinematography. I'm really interested in color. I'm really interested in producing something like a short film. So that changed. But I still like the dumb stuff. And really, there's a melting of both where I want to make dumb cinematic stuff. Oh, I want to so bad.
Are the bumpers going to be really cinematic?
Yes. Yes. There's a look. There is a look. And I like it. And I'm always trying to achieve. There's a particular like cinema look, and I really like it, and I like to go for that. And trying to get that on the daily for vlogs is impossible. It's just too hard. But when you have some level of control over what you're doing, you can get it. And I love it. I love it so much. And I want to make cinematic type stuff that's, the balls are alive. It's really like that's...
I was thinking of the lamp shot on the intro. The sitcom intro.
Yeah.
Because you did that and you color corrected it and you sent it to me and you were like, Mel, look at this. Look what I did. Aren't you proud of me? Look what I did.
I did like that. I did like that.
You do that a lot. You're like, look what I did.
Sometimes I'm proud of a thing. And the person I share it with immediately is Mel. I'm like, Mel, look what I did. But you do it too.
I do.
You call me and you're like, look, I painted this thing. Look, it looks good.
Look, I made a hat.
Or a lot of times recently, they'll be like, look, my rocks are good. And I'll be like, oh my God, your rocks are good. And we both go, oh, the rocks are good. Like, we're children. And then I'm like, all right, well, I gotta go back to work. And then I leave.
Look at this raisin toast alert I made. Brandon has a good point.
That also happens. My God. Vivio Ryder says, what game or games are top on your list to add to your collection? Do you think it's achievable? Do you have something?
To make it into the collection?
Well, we have Rule of Rose now, so...
Oh, I know.
That was your apex forever, and Roland gave it to us for Christmas, and now you're like...
I have a list.
You have a list?
I keep a list of games I keep an eye out for.
You do?
Yep.
You do? I don't have it.
This is not it. This is notes.
I don't know I don't have the list. Are you going to give me the list?
Oh, I gotta update this.
What's on here? Rule of Rose.
I gotta update the list.
Cross that off.
Delete. These ones. I wanted these ones.
Why is Animorphs on here?
I want to try it.
The Game Boy Color version of Animorphs.
I want to try it.
I'm sorry, Mal. I can't imagine that that's good.
Oh, I know, but I want to try it.
I've never heard of this list, so this is new for me. Okay. And there's a Japanese PS2 game you want. Oh,
Yoshinoya.
Oh, is it about?
There's a Yoshinoya game.
About the restaurant chain?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Japanese PS2 games are going to be a little hard.
Oh, I know. But I started to make this list, and I wanted to put Pepsi Man on this, but I know it's way too expensive. And
well, we saw Pepsi Man in Japan.
What's the other one?
Oh, LSD.
Thank you.
I would love to own LSD. I'd love to own Pepsi Man, but you can't justify it. It's Pepsi Man, maybe. LSD, no.
Mm-hmm.
LSD is like $600 or $700 or something. And would it be neat? I mean, yeah, but would I rather buy several hundred Wii games?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wait, LSD?
It's a PS1 game.
Also, now there's a clip of me on the internet going, I would love to own LSD. Have fun with that, no context.
I know what other game that's like a pinnacle of the collection that is within our grasp if we ever wanted it.
Hey, Chaz. What you doing, buddy?
He knows.
He knows. How's it going? I heard that you maybe like Donkey Kong Country and also competitions. So, maybe someday we'll get that. Chaz told me already. Chaz has told me a long time.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, when you're ready to buy it, I will sell it to you. And I was like, okay. He says you got dibs. It's going to be a while on that one, Chief. That game has only went up, and it is 4 digits. That's many digits. For me personally, games on the top of my list to add to the collection. Obviously, we're working towards Wii. There has been so much progress done in it. We've actually had some patrons tell us recently that they were sending games our way, a lot of games our way, which we so appreciate. So I'm pretty hopeful that we actually may finish Wii by the time Extra Life happens. My long-term goals for collecting, Super Nintendo is my big dream, and that's just going to be really hard.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, my favorite thing is to pick up weird games.
Me too. I love going into a store and just
you go
cruising
straight
through PS2.
I was going to say you go straight to the Saturn and Sega CD section.
Those two. I go through
and
them
you
too.
just buy the weirdest junk. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but yeah, this one.
And you read the back and you're like, what?
And you're like,
okay.
yeah, this is the one.
That's how I picked up Okage.
Really? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we're gonna at some point when Wii and Wii U are done, and we're not gonna collect Switch, so we'll start working backwards.
Yeah.
We'll probably start picking up Super Nintendo carts, but Saturn and Sega CD are my favorites to go into game stores because I don't know the library super well. I just like to pick out weird stuff, so
yeah,
that's my favorite thing. All right, so we're it's a long Q&A. I said it would be. We'll do a few more here, and then we'll probably start wrapping it up. So our mods can go to bed. Thank you for being here, by the way, mods. Thanks for chilling out. All right, so let's maybe jump around. I'm gonna let you look at this while I pick one, or read one.
Okay.
And you can figure out if there's anything that looks good. I'm I'm going to read this because this is real specific to me. And I'm like, I like specific questions. This is from Tanner C64. Steven, do you ever experience any major noise issues while filming the vlog in low light? Standard indoor lighting, etc. I've worked on far too many projects where keeping the noise under control in dark locations is an absolute pain. I mean, yeah. Like, the number one thing that you need, and Jeff will be standing right behind me screaming this on top of a mountain for a lot of different reasons. The number one thing you need if you're going to produce, and I mean produce, air quotes, produce a video, is light. You have to have light. You have to have light. People get so fixated and focused on getting the best camera that they could get. And Brandon says, picture noise, not audio noise. Yes, so everyone else is on the same playing field here. Picture noise, picture grain, not audio noise.
For example, the vlog recently where we were trying to watch the meteor shower.
Yeah, that's a great one.
When it was nighttime and we were outside and Steven was trying to film that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of picture noise in that.
Yeah, so you have to have light. People really, they're like, I need this camera. I got to get the best camera that I can get. And it's like, you actually need light. Jeff says, go watch the vlog with the flip. It's true. It's true. You have to have light. And there's obviously there's a few different things that go into what gives you that grain. Mm-hmm. Light is the most important. It's the one that you hopefully have the most control over. Like, you can make a crappy camera look great. You can make it look great if you have the ISO, low or native, and you've got a ton of light. You can make it look good. Obviously, you want a fast lens. You want a wide aperture, something that can go 1.4, but even like 2.8 is good. Mal shoots with a 1.7, letting in a lot of light.
Yeah.
If you want sharpness, you go for a prime. But like, if you're just looking for light, like, obviously the bigger the aperture, the better. And there's certain cameras that handle the ISO, the noise control, better than others. But like, as a general rule, light. Jeff says, don't get me started on getting enough light to have low ISO and sufficient depth of field. He's right. He's very right. Because if you want to have anything other than shallow depth of field, if you need things in focus, and also, this is a completely separate thing, but generally your lens isn't even the sharpest at its most widest aperture, so you probably want to stop it down anyway. So you're stopping your 1.4 down to a 4 to get the sharpness, and then whenever you do that, you've lost all of your light. I just really want the takeaway here to be that you need light. It's the big thing. But do I agree with the sentiment of, like, sometimes you don't have control of what's going on? Like, yeah, sometimes you just don't. And at that time, yes, having a camera that handles the image noise better is good. But if you can get light, get light. And I've seen so much. There's been so many people in the chat right now that are like, I don't understand what he's saying. I can't. Well, there's some amount that I can explain. But light, have light. Your crappy camera will look good with light. You need light. Get light. You get a lot of it. You probably don't need a new camera. You just need light. Probably. Our new camera's nice. Yeah, they got like tricks and features. But like, if your problem is noise, like, you gotta get some light. Yeah. But like with what Tanner was saying, there's going to be times where you don't have control of the light, and in that moment, make sure your aperture is open as wide as possible. Consider not doing the double the frame rate shutter speed rule. Maybe, because that'll give you light. You know, instead of, if you're shooting at 30 FPS, instead of doing 160th shutter speed, do 130th. You know, you're going to get more blur, but, like, it gives you light. All right, I'm done talking about this because I probably confused
Does show
some
command
folks.
work?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Do you need it?
I will.
Where am I? Drink.
So, I'm picking this question from Faylina178. From Al, we all know you're a painter now, but do you have a favorite memory from when you were in band? Just wondering from previous mentions of this. I played clarinet from the time I was 10. I was in 5th grade, and I played clarinet all the way into college. And my favorite memory, I think, like the best time I had in band playing clarinet, was senior year when I was in polka band. Like, a lot of schools have jazz band, and we had jazz band, but clarinets weren't allowed in jazz band. Mm-hmm. We also had polka band that we started. I was a junior when we started it as a program, but I was busy taking some other class and I couldn't take it. But senior year, I made sure I could take it, and I took polka band. And this didn't crop good enough. I gotta recrop this before I post it in Mod Channel for them to do show. My band teacher was in a polka band in Wisconsin. They performed, they got hired for weddings, they did this annual thing at UW Eau Claire for the international dinner. He played like baritone or tuba or something. And he just basically copied all of their music and was like, we're going to have a polka band. So we did polkas and waltzes, and he bought us the alpine hats. Pokemon Princess wants to know if there's an accordion. None of us played accordion, but when we did our concert, this picture Brandon did show for was me dressed up in my alpine hat for that concert. He had some of his friends from his polka band come. One of them was fluent. He was actually from Germany, and he sang in German. And one of them played accordion, and there was an accordionist. And we had root beer on tap. Like, they had a keg of root beer. We had Black Forest cake.
My heart.
And, like, we played, like, 2 hours of just polkas and waltzes, and it was so much fun. It was so Wisconsin, but it was a lot of fun.
See, I wasn't in band, so I can't relate to any of this stuff. Hearing you talk about that makes me miss guitar, though.
Yeah.
I would say that that's a 2020 goal, but it is, but, like, not so overtly. Hopefully. All right.
Jam says, how long ago was this? This was 2006. We all really wanted to have the full uniform, like with the guys wearing lederhosen and the women wearing dirndls, but that was too much money for us high school students, so we just had hats.
Philippo, 39, asks, for Stephen Amau, you've done quite a bit of traveling this year, so I think it's appropriate to ask what's your favorite traveling memory from 2019, and what traveling do you look forward to in 2020?
I've said this before, I think on Breakfast Stream, but one of my most favorite memories of the last year was sitting in the hot spring.
The onsen?
Yeah, and I go back to that sometimes, like, to calm myself down. I was just paging through my journal, like, 2 days ago, and I came across the picture I have of the hot spring just on top of the mountain, and I just tried to remember, like, how it felt to sit in it with the wind, because the wind was crazy, and the cold air, and the rotten egg smell, and it was just really special to me.
While I don't feel, while it's not like my favorite memory, I have to say that the onsen was like one of the most unique experiences ever for me. Like walking down in the frickin' snow, this little path in Crocs
with the spikes on the bottom
to get to this scalding hot tub, like, and then overlooking the mountain. Like, that is honest. It's going to be one of my most unique memories.
And I don't know, because I went to the women's one, obviously.
Yeah.
I was alone, and, with myself and my, yukata with my my basket of towels and stuff, and I didn't know, I thought there was no one there, and there was no one there, but just kind of going through the woods in the snow and just kind of coming upon it, it was just...
And, like, there was a whole... As a foreigner, you're always really worried about doing everything, like, correctly. Like, oh, I gotta do it. And, like, we had all of this, like, talk about, like, you have to do this, you have to do this. And then getting there, and I remember me, Jeff, and Chaz were there, and then there was a Japanese guy, an older guy, who came up and, was like, oh, can I join you? And he spoke English. But, like, he didn't do any of the stuff. Like, you're supposed to do, like, the rinse, like, the ceremony. And, like, I was thinking, I have a feeling these rules are about as strict as, like, an American would feel about this sort of thing. Because he just got in, and it was actually really neat because we just, like, chatted. But I just remember seeing that and being like...
See, I was all alone, and I still did it. And then when I did the indoor one, there was, like, 4 other women in the indoor one, and I was like, oh, I have to make sure I get this right.
I mean... I would never tattle on Chaz or Jeff, but also I don't remember if they did or not. But I know I didn't. Like, I got up to the thing, and no one else was there. And I was like, I'm not doing the thing because it's not even like a cleanliness thing. It's just a manners thing. So I didn't do it. Sorry, guilty. And I got into the thing, and then when I saw the Japanese guy come, and he didn't do it, he was just like, all right, hot tub. And I was like, okay, cool. This is, I feel a lot more comfortable now. Anyway, so that's definitely your favorite traveling memory from 2019.
Yes.
We actually talked about this on Breakfast Stream recently, but I really loved Japan. Getting a chance to go somewhere with my friends was a unique experience, and I sincerely hope it was not the last. Colosseum was so great for so many different reasons for me. Those are 2 of the big highlights, and then China for just experiencing something that was so different. We do have to go back to Japan.
Yeah.
I haven't finished getting GameCube games.
I know.
As far as what traveling do we look forward to in 2020, we don't have anything.
I mean, we have things
planned.
We would like to do.
We don't have anything planned.
It'd be really cool to go do this, but, like, we haven't, like, booked anything. We haven't even told those people, like...
I mean, and also we have been apprehensive about traveling next year because of how messed up we were this year, traveling, contributing a little bit to that. Like, being forced to move, sure. But then also, like, travel. There was a lot of travel. It was hard.
Yeah. And then, like... We weren't apprehensive about going to China the time of year we did until it got close and we were like, oh, Hurricane Dorian's coming and we have to leave the country. Like, oh boy.
Yeah,
we should not travel during peak hurricane season.
We'll have to do better about that. Oh, man. So this question from Elvin Scout 44 it ties into what I had just actually mentioned a few minutes ago. Steven, I seem to remember you owning a guitar at one point. Do you still own it? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I actually have more than one guitar. I have one guitar that I've probably been seen playing the most, which is my acoustic guitar, just because it's a lot easier. It produces its own sound.
The Alvarez?
Yeah, I have an Alvarez acoustic guitar. But I also have...
some others.
Yeah. I won't start on the guitars, but I have some guitars. Yeah. I don't have a better answer because, like, I have such a deep desire to play it. And when I sit and I listen to music, because sometimes I get the opportunity, especially if I'm in the car on long trips, I'll get the opportunity to just listen to music, like, for long periods of time, and it really creates this awful sense, this need inside of me to make music, specifically music. And, like, I'd never get to do that. And it's really sad because it's a part of me that exists and is fervent and passionate, and I don't get to do it. Maybe next year.
During our afternoons off, evenings off.
Maybe.
We'll do BioShock Mondays and Music Tuesdays.
All right. Let's do 3 more questions and call it there so everyone stop. We'll do 3 more. If you see one that you want to do, I think we're going to do that one last.
Yeah, I saw that.
But if you want to do, you pick one, and I'll pick one, and then we'll do that one.
Okay.
So do you have one on here that strikes your fancy? That takes your fancy to a new place?
I'm going through some of them, sorry.
Yeah, there's some good ones in here. We received a whole lot of questions. Like a whole lot of questions.
ZM Victor 22 says, what would be the advice you'd give to your 10 years younger self as we're finishing this decade?
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Personally, I feel like in the last 10 years, there's been some really good highlights, and I feel like overall things have been good, but there were some dark moments that were really bad. And like, I think telling myself at that age that things are going to be so good, and like, you have no idea how, great of a relationship you're going to have. And
oh, don't cry.
I might.
You might. I see it.
Like, I think that would be something that would help my younger self.
I mean, I'm trying to think about, like, for me, again, 10 years younger self, it's like, oh God, there's video evidence of this. I just talked about this. It's so weird because a decade is everyone's length of time that they use. It's a measurement of time to represent long periods of time, things you can't possibly remember. And I'm like, I can pull it up on YouTube and watch it.
What would you tell yourself just starting the vlog?
Oh my God. I mean, I think what I would tell myself is probably very similar to what you would tell you. Like, it's don't sweat the small stuff, which has kind of been like a life.
Yeah.
It's been a way I've lived my life anyway, so I guess my 10 years younger self would be like, I'm on it. But like, don't sweat the small details. Everything will be fine. Stay focused. And then, of course, the big surprise would be like, yeah, this thing you just started, you're going to be doing it for a long time.
Would you tell your younger self to start doing the archiving project earlier?
Yes. Yeah, I definitely would. I think, honestly, like, there have absolutely been rough moments. Like, without a doubt. Without a doubt, there's been some really rough moments in the past 10 years. There's been some stuff that I gotta be careful, because then I'll cry. Like, there's been some stuff in the past 10 years that's been rough, and there's also been some stuff that I know is coming in the next 10, and it's gonna be real bad. And it's like, mentally prepared. Like, I'm more interested in talking to the me from 10 years in the future and getting advice from him. I feel like if me going back and giving advice to the Steven who is, who's turned 20 and is starting this weird project, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. The passion and fervor that he had is still alive 10 years later, and he's going to be fine. But I would love to talk to the 40-year-old Steven and say, what's the game plan, man? How do I get through this? How do I deal with this? Sorry. It's going to be an interesting decade. It's going to be an interesting decade. It's been a good decade. But the next one's going to be really interesting. Sorry. We did really good. It's like 2 hours plus of like really good. I was like, oh, this is really good. Let's basically not like send it into a pit here at the end. But yeah, I'm just being real. I feel like I've gotten off pretty easy in the last 10 years for the subject matter I've had to handle on the vlog, and I know that it's going to get rough in the next 10, and I wish that I could talk to future me and figure out how I managed to deal with all that. But, you know what? I've managed this far, and I'm sure I'll continue to. So yeah, I'm not answering this question very well, because I'm like, if I went back in time, I'd be like, you good?
But I mean, that's sort of advice, like, things will be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and like, but also, I have had a better support system than most people because I have had you. Like, just being realistic, and they know I burn myself on cinnamon rolls that
Twice.
I barely function. Like on a very real scale, I'm like, I can't operate things. Like, I can't do life. So like I am advantaged, to say the very least, because I have a partner who loves and supports me and literally helps me do the most basic of tasks that most adults should be able to handle.
Steven tried to reheat cinnamon rolls again today.
Oh, please, don't tell them. I did it for the same time because it worked last time. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's too hot, though.
So you picked such a good question. Okay, I have to pick another one here. I'm going to try and pick one that doesn't make us cry, though. I don't need to cry. Let's answer this one from Jesse. This is from Jesse Anorak, who asks, in regards to productivity, what are you planning and changing in order to maximize productivity, but while also retaining your full sanity? And this goes to you too, because you're in the same boat. I know that people always think about me as like the workaholic, and like,
you are.
Sure. But Mao is also very busy too. What specifically are we doing in 2020? What are we changing? What are we bringing to the table that's altering things that is going to make things better?
I mean, I think one of the things for productivity for us is having something to look forward to. And like, having evenings to look forward to play BioShock. Because otherwise it's just like work. And then it's like, oh,
you wake
time
up
to stop, dinner. And then it's like, what are we doing after dinner? Work until you go to sleep. Now we got to get up. Now what are we doing? Working. Oh, working till lunch. Now what are we doing? Working. Like, there's nothing
there. Yeah, there's a lot of work. Yeah, I mean, like in the schedule that you introduced in August.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most positive changes we've made in a long time. And while sometimes it can be difficult to stick to it, like, that's so good.
Yeah.
And little reward things that make your brain light up. Mm-hmm. Like Renee says, you need a carrot. It's true.
It's true.
It's so true. And it makes me mad at like human brain, like dumb human primitive brain. But it's so true. It's like just knowing that you're going to be able to have tea. It's like, I get to have tea. Like, you look forward to that. Mm-hmm. So that's been...
And you're more productive because you're like, if I get this done, then I get to have tea.
Yeah. And
instead of just wake up and work until you go to bed, and that's the same thing tomorrow.
But, and I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but for me personally, like, one of the biggest changes that I've never really gotten a chance to enjoy for very long is the fact that Dan edits the Let's Plays. Mm-hmm. Dan edits the Let's Plays, does an amazing job. I can hand stuff off. I don't have to worry about it. And things, like, we managed to, when we split the timeline in 2018, in June, we were caught up, and we stayed basically caught up, more or less, with just a little discrepancy from June until March of this year, of 2019. And, like, that was a really good time that I got to fully appreciate the fact that Dan was taking care of things. And then whenever I start to get behind, it obviously makes things a lot more difficult for me. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I'm really looking forward to for, next year is that we're going into this with vlogs caught up, or, just about. Dan is still tackling things and taking care of things. And then now, and I said this earlier, but like the fact that we have this additional stuff that we are making for streaming, that's other stuff that is done. That is other content that we can release that takes pressure off of me, because ultimately we need to have evenings off. We need to treat it more like a real job. Like we only started taking days off at all like last year. That's crazy. We should never have done that. We should have been taking days off much sooner. So that's my big thing for next year. That's the big thing that I want to do. I really want to make sure that we are taking the evenings and having them for us. And we're going to work towards that. I hate that phrase, we're going to work towards taking off, but it's true. So, yeah. Anyway, the final question of the 2019 Q&A comes from Kelly 8. What is the most important part of your day? Yeeting, praying, or dabbing? Why?
Dabbing.
You gotta get your... Oh, wow. Well, that exists.
You tried.
Well, mine's just sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Everyone says yeet. I mean, I am known to do a yeet. It's how I broke a cat's bowl, actually.
Yeet that cat dish onto the...
It wasn't my fault. It was wet. You're more likely... This is science. You're more likely to eat when the object in question to be eaten is wet.
What about if it's disgusting? Like you pick it up and there's a spider on it? Because I would yeet that so hard.
More likely to yeet while spider exists on object.
Colby Dunbar, when you fall down the stairs, is that a yeet or a dab?
It's a yeet while falling, but a dab when you know you're okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for contributing to the questions. We still had so many other questions that we could have answered. Special thank you to everyone that sent in a question. We sincerely appreciate it. Special thank you to Chaz.
Auto Chaz.
Special thank you to Robot Chaz for making this system work in the first place. We sincerely appreciate it. And for all the behind-the-scenes stuff that Chaz does, for everything, and then to make this a reality.
We
Chaz,
don't even
thank
understand
you.
Everything that Chaz does.
We have no idea. I don't even know. I'll never forget the day I asked Chaz to do something and lamented to him
about how hard it would be. It was impossible.
And Chaz had it done before I was done groveling and said, Steven, coding is literally text manipulation. And I was like, but wouldn't it be hard because there's tildes? And he was like, no. But I don't know. I don't know how it works. I just assume that as soon as a tilde is in a line of code, like it blows up and they're like, it's it, throw it away. We can't use it. Can't put a tilde in there. I don't understand. Anyway. Also, thank you for being
the mods for being here.
I'll go ahead and thank the mods now. Mods, thank you for making this a reality for a long time. 2.5 hours. It's a long Q&A. Yeah. And then also the LP part before this. Thank you for being here. I hope you all had fun. And also, for all of the viewers who are watching this on YouTube, thank you for being patient with us, because we know that there has been certainly a select few of you, at least, that have been asking about Q&As, and I'm sorry that this was the only one that you got in 2019, but it was a big one. It was, in my opinion, a good one, and I hope that this scratches that itch for a while. I totally understand that Breakfast Stream is not a replacement for Q&A. It is what we have right now, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to bring back Q&A in a more...
Did you hear that?
I did. I thought there was a cat behind me.
It's my throat.
That's weird.
It was weird.
Did they hear that?
I don't... If you heard it, yeah.
Oh, they heard it. Oh, it's on the internet. I was like, what is that?
It was my throat. It was so weird.
Are you getting ready to do the alien thing? Like... Anyway. thank you for watching, and next, we'll at least do another one of these next year. So at least you got that.